House Ad Hoc Committee on the Bangsamoro Basic Law also decided to suspend the discussions on the measure's provisions pertaining to national defense and public order. Now, the panel unanimously approved the resolution to suspend filed by Muntinlupa City Solon Rodolfo Biazon. Freddie Abando with the details.
The House Ad Hoc Committee on the Bangsamoro, chaired by Congressman Rufus Rodriguez, cut short its executive sessions on the proposed Bangsamoro Basic Law brought about by two bloody incidents in Zamboanga City and Maguindanao over the weekend.
The Ad Hoc Committee has approved a resolution strongly condemning the killings that have happened in Maguindanao. We likewise condemn what has happened in Zamboanga, the bombings in Zamboanga, resulting to some deaths. Likewise, the toppling down of the NGCP towers in Pikit, North Cotabato, the bombings in North Cotabato, in Malang, and also in Cotabato City, and the recent occurrence in President Quirino in North Cotabato. And also the bus bombing in Bukidnon. These are quite recent.
The Rodriguez Committee has started its deliberations to harmonize provisions of the proposed basic law after the conclusion of its consultative hearings with stakeholders of the peace agreement signed by the government and the MILF last year. Top priority will be given to contentious provisions which may be challenged for their constitutionality before the Supreme Court. The committee approved a resolution calling on the Office of the Presidential Advisor for Peace, the AFP and the PNP, and officials of the Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao to conduct an inquiry of both incidents.
There is a deadline for this because we do not want a long investigation that will probably be forgotten later on. We have a deadline on February 6, that we are able, February 2, next week. We therefore would then ask them, we will have time also to request them to come to Congress to explain to the honorable members of the Ad Hoc Committee who are now trying to approve a BBL that is supposed to have lasting peace in the Bangsamoro, and yet we have these kinds of violence.
The Zamboanga City bombing incident killed 2 persons, wounded 54. The Maguindanao clashes between a contingent of the PNP Special Action Force and the BIFF led to the death of 27 cops initially, but more could be registered. 5 bandits and the capture of 8 policemen. The PNP force was on a mission to serve an arrest warrant for 2 suspected foreign terrorists. House Defense Committee Chairman Rodolfo Biazon stressed the ceasefire committee composed of the AFP, the MILF, and the international observers should determine what triggered the incidents in Maguindanao, a view shared by House Committee Chairman on Muslim Affairs Congressman Tupay Loong.
What we have to take into consideration here is how come there is an operation outside of the boundary line without proper coordination. So this is the thing that we have to find out so that we can have an input for us to make judgment as far as the committee is concerned. Whether this is in defiance to the initiative of the government to proceed with the peace initiative, or this is an intentional incident without relationship to the Bangsamoro Basic Law. So these are the things that we have to take into consideration.
Biazon also pushed for the suspension in the discussion of provisions related to the security provisions of the proposed Bangsamoro Basic Law. Tomorrow, the committee will resume its executive sessions. The final draft of the bill will be approved by next week and will be submitted to plenary by the 2nd week of February. Rodriguez is confident the incidents will not jeopardize the quest for lasting peace in Mindanao.
And the 4 issues that I am asking to be deferred in discussion are, number 1, the fragmentation of the powers of the central government on national defense and national security. Number 2, the creation of a separate AFP command for the Bangsamoro. Number 3, the allocation and assignment of powers on public order and security and safety to the Chief Minister. And number 4, the discussion on the provisions of the normalization issue. Yung 4 na yon. We should resume discussions of those 4 issues only after the investigation reports by the 4 government agencies.
For the People's Television Network, this is Freddie Abando reporting.